When you're blaming the state of your career on other people, you didn't get the promotion, your career isn't headed in the direction you want it to be, you're not getting paid what you believe that you deserve, you're stuck in assigning responsibility for negative events on other people. You're basically outsourcing your power. And the combination of the discomfort of not achieving what you want and not claiming responsibility multiplies emotional dissatisfaction. You not only feel badly about it, you also don't believe you can do anything about it. And that's a rock and a hard place in our emotional intelligence landscape. This video is about how you step out of that. I don't believe anyone who finds their way to my videos is interested in staying in the victim seat. I'm Teresa Quinlan, your EQ executive coach. I've been assessing and debriefing professionals around the world in their EQ, which is your emotion quotient, for the last 17 years. My clients see a minimum increase of 25 points in their EQ, and each point increases earning potential by $1,300. So we do the math, and that means the majority of my clients are increasing a minimum of $32,000, $33,000 of their annual earning potential. That's how powerful your emotional intelligence development is. Taking responsibility for your career won't only change your career, it will actually change your life, because when you start owning your life, you start operating from what I call your seat of power. And what you're going to learn in this video is not just applicable to your workplace, it's all of your life. When you break the habit of blaming, you're essentially stepping into self-awareness, self-management, and performance-driven mindset. Let me tell you how this played out for me, and we're also going to dive into the emotional intelligence skills that you need to make it happen for you. I had a very clear vision of my career trajectory. As a learning and development professional, I knew the top seat I wanted to get to, Chief Learning Officer. I had the entire path laid out, did my research in the field to understand what it would take, plotted the progression, the goal posts, the markers for success. I presented my entire plan to my manager and the COO of the company. Month over month, year over year, we continued to reference this plan, where I was at. We made adjustments as the business shifted. And long story short, I did all of the things necessary to keep the doors of communication open, the transparency of the path and goals visible to my manager and to her manager. And for a while, that path was very smooth in that each box for progress was checked. I was getting more visibility, more responsibility, more pay, until I wasn't. Until progress stalled and promises for promotions, increases for pay, those were broken. Goalposts were moved. Suddenly, this wasn't the path anymore, or couldn't be the path anymore, but without reason. And when this started to happen, I brushed it off as typical executive behavior, and I complained about it, almost to anyone who would listen. I put my head down, kept working towards what I dreamed of, waiting for them to see that I was good enough, that I was worth the investment, the promotion, the higher pay, and I also kept complaining. 18 months of digging in and waiting, 18 months of bumping my head against a ceiling that kept saying, no, doesn't matter if you keep achieving your goals, we've put a limit here. And here's the thing, I wasn't just disappointed, I was crushed. I remember sitting slumped at my desk in my home office, almost unable to sort through my thinking of what to do next, of how to handle this. So I didn't. I actually got up and I went for a walk outside. Fresh air, movement, change of environment, all exceptional for processing emotions and turning rational thinking back on. And the most important thing that really happened on that walk was acknowledging that I was done complaining about it. I made some cognitive commitment because complaining was getting me nowhere. And more than that, venting about it, venting about what other people weren't doing, it wasn't getting me closer to my life goals. It was relinquishing that control, that freedom. But really, it isn't control or freedom, it's ownership. I was relinquishing ownership. So when I got back to my desk, I grabbed my notebook, I turned to a fresh page, and I wrote down my options. And it was really quite interesting how quickly options came. Option number one, suck it up. Head down, work towards those new goalposts, hope that when you get there, they'll keep their promises. And as soon as I thought of that and wrote it down, the thought that followed was, why the hell would I want to do that? She's already shown me who she is. They've already shown me who they are. The second option I wrote down was, look for what I want in another organization. There's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of job postings out there. So much corporate opportunity. And as I thought about that as an option, I also thought, well, I'm just going to get into the same shit in a different pile. And still didn't feel like this is going to be a great option. Now, this third option, I'm going to take what I love doing the most. I'm going to make it my own thing. I'm going to build my own business. I built a department. I could build my own business. And it didn't just emotionally resonate when I said it. It logically resonated. Every part of me was humming with an energy that spoke wisdom and momentum. And I sketched out in 30 minutes what my business would look like, what I would be doing, who I wanted to work with, the problem I was solving, the types of clients I wanted to spend my time with, how I would use my experience, my skills, my talents, and feed those into doing exactly the kind of work I was excited about doing. 30 minutes. That's also how I knew it wasn't just an emotional thing, but it was logical. I could see it in action. I texted my husband immediately and I said, I want to take you and our son out for dinner this evening. I have something I want to talk about. And at the restaurant, I explained what happened. I explained the broken promise yet again. I explained my own vision for my own business. I showed them the plan. And then I paused and asked them, what do you think? And my husband said, I will never forget it. He said, it's about damn time. Part of that is because they were really tired of hearing me complain, or my husband was really tired of hearing me complain about it. And my son said, it sounds like you really thought about it and you're really excited. And he was a mirror for just that I had really thought about it and I was really excited about it. That next morning, I called my boss first thing and I told her, I'm going to be submitting my resignation, wanted to call you before I hit send. She stumbled to find her words and eventually spit out, that's not what I was expecting today. What can I do to make you stay? And here's the thing to all of you out there. The answer to that question, when you're decisive about your value, when you're decisive about your future, when you're decisive that you have chosen something that's going to be your zone of genius, that is going to answer the call of your value and worth, the answer to that question is nothing. What can you do to make me stay now? Nothing. Taking responsibility changed my career because it took the power out of someone else's hands who didn't deserve to have it. Here's the thing. Very rarely are you going to find other people that will pay you exactly what you believe or know that you're worth, that will be as invested in your career as you're going to be. When you have a manager or work in an organization that doesn't have your best interest at heart, you have to be able to see it for what it is and take responsibility for your career. I quadrupled my annual earnings and I work less hours. And I only do what I love to do. And I'm not an exception. I'm not an exception because it wasn't just luck or personality traits or fortune. It was a few emotional intelligence skills. And here they are. The first one is reality testing. You can't look past people's behaviors when they show you who they really are. You can't keep thinking sunshine and rainbows, it's going to work out. You can't keep giving second, third, and fourth chances. You can't continue to justify that this will be the last time they punch me in the face. You have to manage your own emotions and sit firmly in objectivity. You have to be able to see like what's really going on. And it's only from that place that you can make better decisions. It isn't just objectivity about what other people are doing. It's also objectivity turned inward. You have to look at yourself and be able to ask what's really going on here. That leads us to our second skill, independence. You can't get caught up in how other people are going to feel when you follow through on what's best for you. It's not selfish, it's ownership. I could not get caught up in the hardship that was going to happen for my manager and the entire team when I chose to resign and leave. After 16 years of being the one who built it, you bet that there was going to be disruption. It was going to slow down projects, the uncertainty that everyone was going to experience, the stress that my team members were going to feel when I said I'm leaving, the extra work that was going to land in other people's hands. Here's the truth. That's none of your business to worry about. That isn't your responsibility anymore. You also need independence from your own expectation of emotions to arrive, like motivation and excitement when you're starting something new. Sometimes there's more fear involved than excitement. And that fear can absolutely hold you back from taking action. It can keep you stuck in the mud. It can keep you stuck in the ideation. What you need in this moment is your own ability to just start doing, even while you're afraid or uncertain. And that's going to lean on the next two skills. Self-regard is the next skill. Ownership starts and stems from your self-regard. This is about the belief that you have in yourself. And it isn't just like, I believe I'm the best. I believe I can do it. It's not a pep talk. The quality of the relationship you have with yourself whittles all the way down into understanding your strengths. And so how can you lean on those strengths? That's your zone of genius, your spiral of genius. You want to ensure that you are leaning on all of your strengths. And you also need to be very much aware of your weaknesses, because that's when you're going to turn to interpersonal relationships to help close those gaps. I turned to other entrepreneurs that were already in the throes of their own business as early or as young as 6 months in to as experienced as 35 years in. And I spent the first 3 months of starting my business consistently meeting with other entrepreneurs. I paid for the coffee and they enriched me with their experiences. I got an MBA in those first 3 months that would have cost me tens of thousands of dollars, and it was the price of a cup of coffee. And these individuals helped me to get through potholes that I otherwise definitely would have landed in. When we think and when you think about your self-regard, what's necessary when you are claiming ownership for your career and your life is to adopt the mindset and perspective that your best life only comes from the decisions you make for your life, from who you enter into relationships with, to how you allow other people to treat you, to what you eat, or if you exercise, to how you handle if someone breaks promises to you. So if you believe that you are worth being treated poorly, that's the kind of life experience you will invite. If you believe with your self-regard at the forefront that you are worth being treated to the highest standard possible, that's the kind of life experience you will have, one that's very rich and very meaningful and fulfilling on your own terms. And when you have a powerful sense of self-regard, you'll be able to act independently of other people's emotions about what you are doing. And here's another thing. You will always find your tribe. Now, our fourth skill is optimism. And what I don't mean by this is toxic optimism. The rah, everything's gonna be great. Optimism is about understanding that you can positively impact the outcome you desire. And since I just talked about self-regard, belief in yourself, optimism is also knowing what are those strengths and weaknesses that you possess. What are those strengths, qualities, characteristics, experiences that you possess that you're going to need to feed into claiming your career and getting what you want? Because you are the one who is going to do it. Not solo. You will lean on your relationships, but ultimately you are the one. So you've heard these 4 skills: reality testing, independence, self-regard, and optimism, while also remembering your interpersonal relationships. You've got my story that demonstrates these skills in action. Now it's time for you to apply it in your own life. Until next time, subscribe for more and be well.